Welcome to Capital City News, your connection to Salt Lake City government. I'm your host, Poonam Kumar. Today we'll talk to Mitch Davis about neighborhood cleanup in Salt Lake City, and our History Minute this week is about William Shatner. But before we check out what's been going on in the city, let's start with our legislative update. The City Council discussed its priorities for 2015, which were identified at a planning workshop. The Council defined its goals on 6 new priorities, which include capital improvement, economic development, the city's urban forest, impact fees, West Salt Lake Master Plan implementation, and exploring bonding options for recreation needs. The GREENBike season in Salt Lake City officially kicked off at the beginning of the month and announced even more stations opening across the city. To get a membership, visit greenbikeslc.org. Salt Lake City is excited to be able to continue the popular HIVE Pass program, a deeply discounted transit pass available exclusively to city residents. After completion of a pilot effort last year, a slightly revamped program will be available again soon, creating very affordable access to UTA bus and track service. Current pass holders will be notified by email when the new pass is available. Residents interested in participating can check in at ridewithhive.com for updates. At an event on April 2nd, the Redevelopment Agency released a request for qualifications for development of the Rio Grande Depot and UTA's Salt Lake Central Station. Dubbed Station Center, this project is envisioned to become Salt Lake City's premier mixed-use urban neighborhood with retail, commercial, and residential developments served by all major modes of transit. The City Council adopted a joint resolution with Mayor Ralph Becker opposing the transfer of federal lands to the state of Utah. The resolution urges the state legislature and Governor Herbert to stop spending taxpayer funds on further actions related to transfer of the public lands. Neighborhood cleanup is just around the corner, and Salt Lake City's Mitch Davis is here to tell us more about how it works.
My name is Mitch Davis. I work for the Division of Sanitation here for Salt Lake City. The neighborhood cleanup program is meant for large, bulky waste items that wouldn't normally fit in your garbage, recycling, or yard waste container at the curbside. The old furniture, mattresses, bulky yard waste, tree trunks, branches. Please separate your green waste from your bulky waste so that it's 2 separate piles. There are different dump trucks that pick up that material. If you do have heavy materials such as concrete, rocks, or dirt, we ask that you not put more than 2 wheelbarrow fulls out on the street. Commercial contractors are not allowed to participate in this program. This is a residential program meant for the residents of Salt Lake City. We ask that when you put your pile out on the curb, that you don't put it next to a fire hydrant, power pole, or any fixed object, such as a mailbox. At least 3 feet from the driveway to allow the machinery to come in and pick up the debris from the side of the street. So when you put your pile on the street, please make sure you're within the 5-day time period before your pickup date. We won't be picking up household hazardous waste such as tires, paints, chemicals, electronics. We'd ask that you dispose of those at the household hazardous waste collection facility at the Salt Lake Valley landfill. That's free of charge to all Salt Lake County residents. The reason why we can't pick those up is because we're trying to keep those materials out of the landfill itself from being disposed of. So 4 times this year, in 2015, the city will be sponsoring, with the Salt Lake Valley Health Department, e-waste or e-scrap collection events where residents of Salt Lake City can dispose of their electronics that's not allowed in the neighborhood cleanup program, free of charge. We'll take those items. There's a third-party vendor that we work with who recycles that material. Salt Lake City will mail out an information postcard 3 weeks before your neighborhood cleanup pickup starts with instructions on what you can and cannot put on your cleanup pile. They can also visit the website www.slcgreen.com for more information.
And now, it's time for our History Minute.
In the early 1960s, William Shatner was a young stage actor hoping to make his big break into television. He'd done many live stage shows for the medium and had found iconic guest parts on anthology shows like Alfred Hitchcock Presents and The Twilight Zone, though he hadn't yet found his breakthrough role. In 1964, he finally booked a pilot that he thought was going to be the one, Alexander the Great.
I did not cross the sea to conquer Persia. I came to put an end to the barbarism that rots this land and has plagued Greece for 200 years. I came to put an end to wars forever.
It shot for 6 months all over the state of Utah, bringing in actors like William Shatner, John Cassavetes, Joseph Cotten, and Adam West. Unfortunately, Alexander the Great did not turn out like the producers had hoped and was shelved. Shatner went on to record other pilots, but took a job in Salt Lake City, opening a play by Norman Corwin called The Hyphen. It premiered at the Pioneer Theater on the University of Utah campus on March 24, 1966, and played through April 2nd. The intention was to debut the play in Utah and then move it to New York, but while these preparations had been made, Shatner found out that one of the pilots he'd shot just before the Salt Lake City debut of the play had been picked up by NBC for a series. That show? Star Trek. Shatner left Utah and the stage behind him and reported for duty at Starfleet, immersing himself in the part of Captain James Tiberius Kirk, the breakout role he'd been looking for that would go on to define him for the rest of his career.
Forward phasers. Stand by.
That's it for this week's Capital City News, your connection to Salt Lake City government. Be sure to tune in next time to keep up to date on what's happening in the city. For Salt Lake City TV, I'm Poonam Kumar.